Two champions laying it on the line.
And I'm gonna be the matador, sticking him with needles from every angles. And when he's ready to fall, he'll fall.
I want to beat him, and I want to beat him convincingly.
Both men at the crossroads in their career. And both looking to make a statement.
I have a job, and that job is to try to beat him, try to knock him out inside the ring.
I'm gonna put everything that's necessary inside myself to get myself prepared physically, mentally, and spiritually to beat him, to knock him out.
Now, Oscar De La Hoya and Fernando Vargas settled the score in one of the most anticipated matchups of the year. De La Hoya Vargas, Bad Blood. One is the established champion, the other, the rising superstar. But for both, it's a make or break fight.
People around the world want to see, hey, who's the best junior middleweight out there? Can Oscar, take on one of the top junior middleweights out there? Can he handle this weight? Vargas is strong, but he's young. He's inexperienced. He maybe jumped in with Trinidad a little early. So, it's a big test right here. We're going to see, the young versus, one of the established champions right now.
Vargas is feeling like he has something to prove to everyone, that he is a better boxer, he's the true Latin fighter, and you'll hear him say probably during his promotion that I'm a real Mexican, Oscar's just pretending because I'm fighting from my heart. But he's the guy that needs this fight to maintain or to build his supremacy as the hot Latin fighter that America is going to embrace. He wants to take over Oscar's position as the pay-per-view king, as the guy that everybody looks at. So he's got a lot on the line in this fight.
This is important because he doesn't like Fernando Vargas, and he's always tried to project the tough guy thing. And if Fernando Vargas comes out and he turns out to be the tough guy in this fight and wins the fight, kind of based on being a better brawler than Oscar, I think that the aftermath of that and the self-esteem of that will be very crucial. I'm not so sure that he'd fight a lot more after that.
In fact, this fight has been 10 years in the making.
It's a fight that I never wanted, that it was never ever gonna happen, because why am I gonna let this guy make all this money off me? Why? But there's a point where you have to you can take so much. I said, okay, I'm gonna pay you this amount of monies. Let's make the fight.
I think the boxing fans crave fights like this constantly. It's rare that we have two fighters, young, near the top of their games, facing one another. So in that regard, it's a fascinating matchup. But I think in this case, if you add to that their personalities and the contrasting personalities, the fact that they can't stand each other, then you really have a fascinating fight.
This is fire and ice, and Oscar is the ice. And I think he takes some pride in the fact that, and you saw it at the press conference when they had their little episode, I think Oscar takes pride in the fact that he's not going to let Fernando get under his skin. And I think Fernando gets egged on even more by Oscar's cool. So the roles are very defined here.
Coming up, why this fight is so important to De La Hoya.
I'm gonna spend 3 months of training to destroy Vargas.
When De La Hoya Vargas, Bad Blood, continues. Oscar De La Hoya had a meteoric rise to boxing superstardom. Capitalizing on his gold medal win and good looks, he's been boxing's poster boy.
Oscar is a world unto himself. It is so difficult for fighters to transcend boxing. So few do it. Obviously, Ali did it. Obviously, Ray Leonard did it. Obviously, Mike Tyson did it. For this immediate generation, the guy who did it is Oscar.
For the first 6 years of his career, De La Hoya's record was unblemished, capturing 5 world titles in 4 different weight classes. But then, in September of 1999, De La Hoya suffered his first defeat, a controversial decision to Felix Trinidad. 9 months later, he suffered another setback when he lost to Sugar Shane Mosley.
I think that's one time where Oscar made a big mistake in his strategy. And I think he also saw Mosley as a little guy. Like Mosley had just moving up 2 weight classes to fight him. And I thought he thought he was stronger, that he could take whatever Mosley had. But he didn't count on Mosley's quickness.
De La Hoya went through a metamorphosis following that defeat. He took time out from boxing to promote his CD, also gaining a Grammy nomination and shedding his Playboy image by marrying Puerto Rican singer Millie Corretejer.
She is a whole different woman, I mean, it's incredible of how understanding, how smart, how knowledgeable she is when it comes to personal, day-to-day life situations. She's teaching me. I'm a man, but she's teaching me how to be a real man. A good man. And that's what I adore about her.
Now a married man, he resides part-time in Puerto Rico, but De La Hoya has never forgotten his East LA roots.
Oscar is a very charitable person, and his charity starts with his East LA heritage. The Oscar De La Hoya Foundation, the Resurrection Gym, all are part of Oscar's desire to give back to the community.
I've always tried to do good things for my community. I've always tried to give back as much as I can. I've always tried to open doors for other fighters. I've always tried to present myself in a very positive way to get corporate America to pay more attention to boxing.
In rededicating himself to boxing, De La Hoya brought in Floyd Mayweather Sr. as his trainer and Rob Garcia as his conditioning coach.
I'm teaching Oscar things that he said he never seen, you know? And I am teaching him the lost art of boxing. He's very, very comfortable with me. Because, you know, when I tell him something, you know, if he uses what I tell him, it's going to work.
Well, we incorporated Coach Mayweather and myself. We'll sit down and put together a game plan, and he'll give me an assessment of what needs to be taken care of in camp, and then I'll follow that out.
With their help, De La Hoya was able to capture his 5th world title when he defeated Javier Castillejo for the WBC Super Welterweight Championship. He's refocused and concentrating solely on boxing, and right now, the target is Fernando Vargas.
I'm gonna spend 3 months of training the way I did for the first Chavez fight and the only fight. Take 3 months of my time, of my health, of my, physical being to destroy Vargas. That's my focus. From right now, this moment, my focus is on Vargas.
Coming up, why there is no love lost between De La Hoya and Vargas.
This is the biggest fight of my career, but at the same time, I had big fights, but this time, it's personal to me.
When De La Hoya Vargas, Bad Blood continues. Fernando Vargas is a man who wears his emotions on his sleeve, something that was evident when he finally faced Oscar De La Hoya at the press conference to announce their upcoming fight. It resulted in a push that was boiling with 10 years of anger.
There's a certain, incident that happened. I was just a kid, and as a kid, you start saying, some pretty, bad things about that person if that's what you feel. From then on, I guess I was hurt, but it turned into hate.
In a little more than 7 years, Fernando Vargas has become one of boxing's superstars. Following a storied amateur career, it didn't take long for people to start taking notice of Vargas's extraordinary talent.
I remember having heard that he had a pro style, and from the little bit I saw of him early in his professional career, it was clear that this was a kid who was going to move very fast, and once he physically matured, was going to be a very, very good, if not a great fighter.
Just 19 months after turning pro, he became the youngest junior middleweight champion in history at the age of 20 years old when he defeated Yuri Boy Campos to capture the IBF championship. Then in April of 2000, Vargas faced his biggest challenge in former WBA welterweight champ Ike Corte.
It looked like, to me, like at the beginning, like Corte was physically too strong for him. I was like, oh my, he's really in for a fight. He just calmly and cool just picked this guy apart for 12 rounds. It was really a masterful performance.
That win vaulted him into a mega fight with Felix Tito Trinidad. Vargas fought valiantly, but lost by knockout in the 12th round. But perhaps in losing, Vargas gained a newfound respect from the fans for the brave effort he put out.
There's a thing, especially for California fight fans and Mexican fans, if you lose like a warrior, if you go out on your shield, they will love you as much as if you won the fight.
5 months after the Trinidad fight, Vargas faced Wilfredo Rivera. He survived a knockdown in the 2nd round and was able to come back and win with a 6th round KO, though his performance had some questioning the effects of the Trinidad loss.
That's really the first time I've ever seen him just utterly unprepared for a fight. I think it woke him up in the sense that he can't do this. If he wants to succeed in this business, he's got to focus on what he's doing. He's got to train hard for every fighter.
People didn't know that I was very, very severely overweight and I had to lose a lot of weight and, you know, basically I had to lose 10 pounds the week of the fight. So I just won that fight on pure heart, you know what I'm saying? On pure, you know, going in there and just trying to take him out of there.
Last September, Vargas captured his 2nd world title with a 7th round KO win over Shabata Flores.
Well, I didn't want to come in, you know what I'm saying, come into this fight as a challenger, you know, and my people and my trainers didn't want me to come into this fight as a challenger. I was ready to come in as a world champion as I've been, as I am right now.
Vargas says he has some surprises in store for De La Hoya, but he had an even bigger one for his longtime girlfriend and mother of his 2 children when he proposed to her on live TV.
You know, I've been with my girl for 6 years, going on 7, and gave me 2 beautiful cubs, and you know, it's something that I'm more in love with her now than ever, and you know, I really want to do this.
Early in his career, many ringside experts said that Vargas fought more mature than his age. And now, those close to him say that he's matured as well outside the ring, as a person and as a father.
The thing that impresses me most about Fernando is that he is someone who knows exactly what he wants. He knows exactly what he has to do to get it, and he is willing to do the work involved. He's not trying to cut any corners. He's not trying to cheat it. He simply is going out and working his hardest to get his heart's desire.
Antes de sus 21, 22 años.
When he was 21 or 22, he was still acting like a kid. But now he's acting like an adult. We have spoken about it, and he has certainly matured a lot. And we have also seen the maturity in him, outside of the ring as well.
Fuera del ring ha madurado mucho, se ha portado muy bien.
I'm still growing up, I feel, through their eyes, you know. Some of the things that, you know, to wake up and give your dad a hug, I never had that, you know, and my babies can give that to me. That to me is beautiful, and I know why I was so angry as a kid, you know, because of that, and now I can give, you know, everything to my kids and forget the monetary stuff. To me, it's giving my heart and my life to them, you know, being there. That to me is the world to me.
Coming up, speed versus power. Who has the advantage? When De La Hoya Vargas, Bad Blood continues. Oscar De La Hoya and Fernando Vargas are known for their contrasting styles and personalities. Yet both fighters agree on one thing. They're both training in the mountains of Big Bear, California, where ironically enough, these 2 heated rivals are practically neighbors. De La Hoya has been known for his speed and agility, while Vargas's forte has been his punching power and strength. That's why in this confrontation, there is no clear-cut favorite.
There's one big thing about this fight that, we have to remember is Fernando's going to be the stronger guy in the ring there. Okay, Oscar's going to have the speed edge, but Fernando is a natural junior middleweight. Oscar started off his career at 130.
He still has tremendous boxing skills, and he still has superb hand speed, and he didn't lose any of that at 154. My question about this fight is whether he has the strength to actually hurt Vargas.
I think what we're going to see, and the De La Hoya supporters may have a hard time accepting this. I think they're probably in denial about it, but as in many other things in life, size does matter.
I'm not worried about none of these guys, these junior middleweights whooping Oscar, because Oscar faster than all of them. And with me, he'd be more skilled than all of them.
I don't see him being able to step out of his weight category and feel uncomfortable unless he was giving him height and reach. He has the boxing skills, he has the speed, and with the training that we're implementing now, I believe he will have the power.
He's making me, compete against them. He's getting me to that level where I can actually push these guys around. For this fight, we brought in, I wouldn't say he's like a specialist on the hands, and he's no doctor whatsoever, but on wrapping a fighter's hand, he's like the best. And his name is Joe Chavez. He's also my cut man. For the first time in a long time, my hand has been pain-free.
Vargas, the natural 154-pounder, has been known to let his emotions get the better of him.
And if you take emotion into the ring and don't harness it, you'll just be flailing away and you won't be an effective fighter. That's the danger for him in this fight. His hatred for Oscar, because Oscar represents so much that's sort of opposite of him. His hatred is dangerous here because if he lets the emotion get to him, he won't box effectively. Technically, he won't box effectively.
That's another misconception that people have, he'll lose his head. When have I lost my head? I pushed him at the press conference. Big wow. I've seen, people, roll around on the ground or over a studio sets, over a fight. That's something big. So, obviously they think that I'm some hot-headed guy that does no control over his emotions. Come on. That to me is funny.
However, Vargas's anger has gotten the better of him against Felix Trinidad, where he suffered his only loss.
That fight served as a great purpose. It hurt just to lose. But at the same time, we recognize the mistakes that were made. It's the best thing that could have happened to him, because now he has to take care of himself, be more defensive, and listen to the corner, and learn from everything.
So the question remains, will Vargas listen to his corner and control his anger? And does De La Hoya have the power at 154 pounds?
I know his hand speed's not there, and neither I don't feel his power. So I know that I'm a strong puncher at 154 pounds, and I feel that once I put my punches together, I don't think he'll be able to stand up.
Being smarter than he is the only thing I need. I don't care if he's stronger. It doesn't really matter. I don't care if he's, gonna come out and unleash with combinations. I'll have something to protect myself with. As long as I'm smarter and faster than he is, that's all I need. That's all I need. With this here, I got him. Believe me, I got him.
Coming up, what can we expect when De La Hoya and Vargas step into the ring? When De La Hoya Vargas, Bad Blood continues. When they step into the ring, it will be in a familiar place, the Mandalay Bay Events Center in Las Vegas. Both have had some of their biggest fights in that arena.
Oscar and Fernando are two great competitors, very competitive fighters, and they are both great Mexican Americans, and they both love their heritage, and they both wanted to represent the Mexican people here in the United States as well as in Mexico. And for all those reasons that I just pointed out, the fight, without any doubt, will be probably the fight of the year, if not the fight of the decade.
It's not just titles or belts on the line. This fight is personal.
It's a fight that has a lot of heat because Vargas is a very, very angry fighter. And De La Hoya is actually buying into that kind of anger now. And this is the one guy that he has felt animosity about that he's ever fought before. So I think we're going to see a lot of heat in this fight.
This is not only a big fight in Los Angeles, it's not only a big fight in California, it's not only a big fight in the United States, it's one of the biggest fights in the world and one of the biggest fights in the sport today. And I believe that it will take its place, its rightful place, among the biggest and highest grossing non-heavyweight fights in history.
I mean, these guys genuinely don't like each other, and not because they've been matched to fight each other, but you know, this dislike goes back for many, many years. And you can talk all you want about the sweet science and boxing and what an art form it is, but essentially it's a fight.
The chemistry of these two forces coming head to head makes a fight that people want to see because they just can't wait to see how it's going to start, let alone how it's going to end. And I know that's how I feel about it.
It makes for an unbelievable fight. All these years of, bitterness and, tension being built up. Can he see clearly when he goes in there against us? That's the question that we all have. And Oscar, for the first time, always cool and calm and collected. This time he's got the fire going. I mean, he's, not exactly Mr. Nice Guy anymore. He's throwing out some shots at Fernando.
Oscar De La Hoya is a boxer. He's not a brawler. He can be tough, but his strength is to be a boxer, and his strength is in the experience he's had in the ring. He's been there many more times than Vargas, and if he keeps his poise and boxes and uses his quick hands and quick feet and just scores points, that's what he has to do then.
If people are expecting him to charge De La Hoya, go after De La Hoya, I think they're mistaken. I think he's a counter puncher. I think he's gonna be very patient, very calm. De La Hoya will move. De La Hoya will try to use his quickness. But I'm not sure he's gonna dance around the ring. I'm not sure that Fernando's gonna have to chase him. I think Oscar's got some pride too. I think it's gonna come down to who's the better boxer.
Style-wise, it's a very interesting matchup. They're both counter-punchers. Oscar probably has a little bit better of a jab, maybe a little bit better hand speed. Fernando will probably try to shorten the distance behind his jab. Oscar will try to keep the distance significant. If it's a physical fight and a lot of it is fought on the inside, chest to chest, that's Fernando's fight. The further out, further away from each other they are, that's Oscar's fight.
Mayweather and I are gonna have a game plan. He's gonna fall into a trap. At the end of the night, he's gonna say, what happened? That's the type of fight it's gonna be. He's gonna come to me. It's just like fishing. I have the reel and you bring in the fish. Exactly like that.
This is the biggest fight of my career, but at the same time, I had big fights, but this is it's personal to me, I want to beat him, and I want to beat him convincingly. I feel that at 154 pounds, he ain't got it. And I feel that when we do fight, it's going to be history, and I'm going to be part of history, and that really sinks into my head a lot.
We're at the Mandalay Bay of Las Vegas, and the millions watching around the world. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's champion versus champion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue and red, and officially weighing 154 pounds. Since capturing Olympic gold in 1992, he now has a professional record of 34 victories, including 27 knockouts with only 2 defeats, and 6 world titles. From East Los Angeles, California, the 6-time world champion, the reigning, defending WBC the blue corner. Wearing white, and his official weight is also 154 pounds. His professional record, 22 victories with only 1 defeat, and 20 of his 22 victories are by knockout. And he has captured 2 world titles. From La Colonia Boxing, Oxnard, California, the 2-time world champion, the reigning, defending WBA junior middleweight champion of the world, the Aztec warrior, El Feroz Ferocious, Fernando Vargas.
All right, gentlemen. We went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. I want good sportsmanlike conduct. Oscar, your cup is the trunks a little high here. The punches here are still good. Your trunks are okay here. Remember, guys, I want a clean fight. Obey my commands at all time. And remember, guys, I'm fair but firm. Touch him up.
One thing to note, Oscar De La Hoya did not look up to the sky where he always has in the past for his dearly departed deceased mother, but instead he looked right at Fernando Vargas tonight.
He's had that look since he arrived earlier tonight. And he is ready to go, and here we go. 12 rounds of action from Mandalay Bay. Oscar De La Hoya and Fernando Vargas. Vargas in the white trunks. Oscar in the blue and red trunks. First round. Oscar comes out firing the jab.
And the question that will be among the early ones answered, who will dictate the style, who will dictate the tempo of this fight tonight?
Many people thought Vargas might come out and start throwing immediately because of all the pent-up anger he has toward this man, but it is Oscar who's going right to work. Good combination upstairs. Vargas has yet to throw a punch. There's one.
Vargas insisted, although he has a reputation as a brawler, that he is a smart, intelligent fighter, and he would fight De La Hoya intelligently tonight. The way that he fought Ike Corte, which was a beautifully executed fight plan by Vargas.
He just fired a big right hand and missed the chin of Oscar De La Hoya, who pushes him back a little bit. That could have been a devastating punch should Vargas be able to land it. Good combination from De La Hoya. He has been an aggressor in this round.
De La Hoya flashing the speed, so Vargas seeing it here now, and he'll try to time the punches of De La Hoya if he can.
De La Hoya cautious, but yet effective with the jab. Up and down. Quadrupled up on that jab right there. Floyd Mayweather Sr.'s been working with him on his right hand. But you can bet his left hand continues to be his most powerful punch. A lot of people don't know he is ambidextrous. He plays golf left-handed, so he can turn around and go the other way if he wants to, but he usually prefers not to. I'm interested to see what kind of different style. You know, we haven't seen this guy in a long time. 15 months since Oscar's been in the ring. That's a long time.
And it's a good clinical boxing round by De La Hoya so far. Vargas is just trying to break a sweat, just trying to get warmed up.
Vargas trying to counter there, and now he goes on the attack. Oscar's up against the rope.
He nearly goes through the ropes, and Vargas opens up.
Made a mistake there with his footwork and almost slipped out of the ring.
Look at that shoulder to De La Hoya.
Good left hand from Vargas. De La Hoya's in a bit of trouble right here in the first round. A little bit stiff, and Vargas is on him throwing punches. There's another left hand to the head of Oscar De La Hoya. Good right. De La Hoya is just taking punches, and then he gives a sort of a grin. He's looking around. Very awkward moment on the ropes over there when Oscar Sr. loses his footing. He almost fell out into the celebrities.
Well, things were going along just swimmingly for De La Hoya, who is reddening along the right side of his face.
He's making himself an easy target, it would appear, at this point. And Vargas trying to, De La Hoya coming back toward the end of the round there, and now it gives Vargas a little wink and a little smile. Round 2 scheduled for 12. Fernando may have won that first round with that flurry along the ropes. Floyd Mayweather Sr. wanting Oscar De La Hoya to go back to his jab. He said he let Fernando back in it in that round. We'll see if there's any effects from that redness along the cheek. It shouldn't be much problem. It's not a cut. It's just more or less a little bruise. Vargas doing a very good job of counterpunching.
First 2 minutes of the round, I thought De La Hoya had an easy time of it. And then suddenly, Vargas came on.
It's like he got crossed up or something over there in the ropes. And then as he was struggling to get out of the ropes, he got caught.
And Oscar seemed a little tight to me and trying to kind of get going again at the end of the round.
He seems tight because he's trying something that I haven't seen him do. Maybe all these new styles and Floyd and everything else, he seems to be trying to work on the jab and sticking and moving and more of a classic boxing style. Both fighters pretty equal in power at this point. Vargas leading with the left. That was close inside. Both chins were exposed. You just have to kind of sit here and hold your breath a little bit to see what happens, to tell you the truth.
I think Oscar De La Hoya is a little cautious here, trying to get his jab going, and now he starts to find his rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, he's just a little tight, especially the last part of that last round. Both fighters appear to be in great shape. Vargas also working the jab effectively.
Vargas has not, as so many people suspected, just run across the ring and tried to brawl it out with De La Hoya.
He's a powerful puncher. Oscar's felt those punches. No, he's been more cautious than most people maybe thought he was going to be.
The jab of De La Hoya is effective.
I don't know why he abandoned it in the last minute of the first round.
But he has not yet followed it up with any kind of rights of any significance.
Under 30 seconds left in round two. Fernando goes on the attack, and Oscar sidesteps. All the way across the ring. Now Fernando trying to apply the pressure.
Vargas missing a lot of punches here.
Reminded me a lot of Trinidad tried to stalk Oscar down in that fight. Now we're getting into a little bit of a shoving match. Joe Cortez would appreciate it. It could get ugly.
That won't be the last time.
Izquierda primero. Trabaja tu izquierda, Fernando. Ya, 3-2. Usa su izquierda. Pero bien con cuidado que no me lo golpee. Lo quieren así ya.
Be careful with his left hand.
Hay que llevárnoslo bien, vivir, pero cuando le pones presión, pónsela, no respetes al güey. Pero ese güey tiene...
Get right back to your jab. Your defense is working good. Keep your head moving. Keep your rhythm going, okay? Keep your rhythm up. Up and down and up. Double jab. Hook off the jab. Jab, hook, jab. Keep doing different things. You don't want to do the same thing. Keep them confused. Start using the range now. Make them look for you. Then run them into something. You're doing good. Keep the job.
Little blood trickling out of the nose of Oscar De La Hoya, and you can hear what Rick Murata was talking about, getting a rhythm and using his jab. A very even fight so far, and a very entertaining one to say the least. Here comes Fernando. Fernando got a little shoving match toward the end of the last round. Now Oscar's going to open it up a little bit.
I'm sure it's hard for these guys to resist.
I think it's going to get into that. I really do. We're not playing patty cake tonight, Rich Murata.
No, but at least so far they've conducted themselves like sportsmen in there. There was no ridiculous antics before the fight, in the ring, and they basically fought a clean fight with the exception of that one shove at the end of the second round.
You can see a little blood from the nose of Oscar De La Hoya. But there's no swelling, it's just a red spot when he got caught up in the ropes in the first round.
And you remember when De La Hoya fought Trinidad, and he boxed in that fight, but he boxed with a lot of movement in that fight.
Yeah.
He is boxing here tonight, Alan, but not with a lot of movement. He's not running around the ring, he's not real mobile, he's not...
They just clashed heads.
What he's trying to do is stand right in front of Vargas, basically, and make Vargas miss. And he feels he can do that with the new defensive techniques that Floyd Mayweather has taught him.
He's holding that left hand pretty low. Maybe he's trying to invite Vargas in. Tries an uppercut there that misses. And you have to wonder about some of his punching accuracy after not being in the ring for 15 months. And certainly that is a factor. It has been in his career in the past, punching accuracy. But I think they're it's in the third round now, about halfway through, and I think they're about to get each fighter in the rhythm. Fernando Vargas is very poised, I'll have to say that, Rick.
Yes, he's fighting a very controlled fight. No real show of emotion, with the exception of that little sneer they had for each other at the end of the second round.
Vargas is trying to land the power punches and missing badly. Oscar still coming back with that jab. If Oscar gets into some kind of rhythm here, he can take over this round.
He is often
throwing a right hand.
He is often throwing jab first to the body, then bringing it up to the head. That's
Big
a
right
strong
hand.
punch.
Big right hand just hurt Oscar. Oscar's hurt in the third round. Vargas trying to finish him off, trying to land big punches. Overhand right from Vargas as he continues to press. There's a left hand, a straight left to the face of Oscar De La Hoya. De La Hoya trying to gather himself with 27 seconds left in round 3. Oscar suffers a big punch. Now he's trying to fight back on the jab.
Well, that's what he's depending on. It looks almost like De La Hoya is hoping to win this fight with the jab alone. That won't be enough, I don't think, Alan.
No, it won't. Remember I told you his right, he was holding his left hand down pretty low. He got caught with the right over the top.
I have Fernando Vargas ahead 29-28 at the end of 3 rounds.
We are entering round 4 of a scheduled 12-rounder. Vargas landing a power shot. Last round, crowd reacting to a good jab from Oscar De La Hoya. But the jab's not going to be enough in this fight. Good power shot from Fernando Vargas. Oscar countering now. Vargas looks very quick in this fight, Rich.
Yes, and strong too. And he is probably the strongest fighter that Oscar has ever faced. Remember, Oscar De La Hoya has been coming up consistently in the weight class. 130, 135, 40, 47, now 54. Fernando Vargas has been here the whole time. 54.
Exactly. Excellent point. Excellent point. Some people question whether or not Oscar had the power at 54 that he had at 47. This is the Fernando's weight. You can actually see his ribs on the back through his back. He's so lean and mean for this fight. Vargas pressing straight ahead. De La Hoya continues to flip the jab. Very, very competitive fight. We're in round 4. Fernando Vargas in the white trunks, Oscar De La Hoya in the red and blue trunks.
De La Hoya very cautious here, reluctant to let that right hand go. He's throwing a lot of left jabs and they are effective for him. Especially that particular double jab, which is throwing body and head.
Now
but where's the right hand down?
I don't know, but he's throwing that jab from down off his hip. I think when he's tried to fire the right hand, he's been countered. Nice uppercut inside. Fernando felt that good body shot from Oscar.
That one may have hurt Fernando a little bit. He took a couple
to the right hand. Now Oscar starting to tee off. Woo, we got a fight.
It's not quiet in here anymore.
No. Very accurate punches there from Oscar. He just took the left hand as Fernando decides to throw a jab. Kind of getting into a rhythm here.
He is with his left, but where's the right? He's not throwing it with any conviction. He's showing it once in a while, kind of waving it at Fernando Vargas, but not throwing it.
"20 seconds left, round 4 scheduled for 12. It's been a very high-intensity fight.
Vargas is putting relentless pressure on.
That's what he wants to do. Pretty good right hand that snuck in there, Rick.
And that was almost the first one of the round.
I mean, he seems to want to follow. He trusts him completely. I've never seen that in Oscar's corner. Oscar would sit there with other trainers and just sort of ignore him. But he is really trying to stick to some sort of game plan. I think it got him in trouble in the first round. Now Vargas comes back with the left, and Vargas is pressing the attack.
Yeah, he's ripping left hooks.
Oscar counters. It's going to get busy here in round 5.
What we're seeing here tonight is exactly what boxing needs. 2 great champions, 2 in their prime, 2 promotional companies coming together, top rank and main events to put on something like this. And you see the result.
Good right hand once again from Vargas, who's really pressing the action, but gets backed up off the jab of De La Hoya. De La Hoya is going to have to fire the right. There's a right. They're really swapping here. It's going to be a matter of attrition.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm wondering who's going to wear down here. And the style that Vargas has showed often has the ability to wear down an opponent. That constant, relentless pressure in your face all the time has a very wearying and fatiguing effect on an opponent.
Vargas came prepared for this fight. Great physical condition. I see some of Mayweather Jr. in the way Oscar's holding his hand. We're seeing a little more blood from the nose of Oscar De La Hoya now.
He's the only one marked so far in the fight. And now Vargas is bouncing back this round.
Vargas is unloading now over in the corner. Oscar manages to step out of it. Well, he's going to have to be in great shape to keep this kind of pressure up. We're just in the 5th round out of 12.
Well, if nothing else, he's in great shape.
He's in great shape. De La Hoya a little more marked up. Now he's hopping out of harm's way. 45 seconds left, round 5. It's been Vargas this round with more pressure.
The 2 are making millions tonight, but they're earning them.
De La Hoya seems to circle a little bit more as Vargas is going to stand right there. Good right hand from Vargas once again. Those are taking a toll, Rich.
De La Hoya not fighting back right
now
here.
He's on the ropes. Now he's on the ropes. Vargas continues to throw. Oscar's standing there taking it. Oscar's not throwing anything.
Vargas senses something here, and De La Hoya beginning to look a little bit jaded in there. Take a look at that face.
There's a lot of blood coming out of his nose just now.
No blood, no blood. All right, Chief, let's go.
All right, seconds out. Seconds out.
Through 5 rounds, I have Fernando Vargas ahead by a point going to round 6.
Well, he certainly appeared to take that last round, and here we go to round 6, scheduled for 12. Mayweather trying to get his fighter to slow down Vargas a little bit, take some starch out of him, as it were. De La Hoya in the blue and red trunks, Vargas in the white. I think De La Hoya's marked up a little bit. I think his nose is hurting him a little bit because he's been popped in there pretty good.
He needs to get that jab to work again.
That's his best, most effective weapon, would be the jab to slow down the attack of ferocious Fernando Vargas. Been a very, very good competitive fight so far. Vargas is gaining confidence, I can see, as he goes along here, Rich.
There was a newspaper poll in the local Las Vegas newspaper here today in which media members were polled. 20 picked De La Hoya to win. Only 1 picked Vargas to win. I wonder if you re-polled those same 21 now, what the score would be.
A little bit different. In round 6, nearing the halfway point of round 6, Fernando Vargas has slowed down a little bit in this round. He has a tendency in this fight to come on in the last minute, though. Oscar definitely in a defensive posture with this man right now.
Well, and if he's going to be, then he should be jabbing. If he's going to move, he needs to jab.
Good jab right there.
Tripled up on him.
Now he's moving up on his toes a little bit.
That's more reminiscent of the Trinidad fight. That's how he befuddled Trinidad for most of the first 8 rounds. Their boxing exhibition by De La Hoya here.
Now I see some blood on Fernando Vargas' right side, his right cheek above the cheekbone. I don't know if that's from Oscar or maybe he's opened up a little cut there.
I don't think so. I think he's at least bruised under that eye. And De La Hoya is boxing a brilliant round.
His best round so far, 25 seconds left. De La Hoya doing the things he needs to do to counter the power of Fernando Vargas that he showed in the 5th round.
Now Vargas is busted open underneath the right eye, it looks like. Starting to bleed pretty heavily.
And that tells you what the effect of that jab has been. It's been a beautiful jab. He's busted open really well now. It's a big cut.
Clinic by De La Hoya in that round. He landed a punch after the bell, and Fernando goes, what was that? There was Vargas' 2 big punches right at the end of the round, 2 left hooks, but De La Hoya with the punch right after the round. Vargas sneering at him. Until those 2 punches, though, by Vargas at the end of the round, I thought that De La Hoya had a big round.
I think what he's doing is it's a heck of a thing to ask for a guy to keep up that kind of pace. If Oscar can keep up that kind of style and that pace, you're gonna see Vargas getting a little winded in this thing. You're already beginning to see it now. In that round, I thought Oscar started gaining some confidence, but I would dare say, I guess, and only a guess, this fight's probably dead even.
That is how I have it at this point. A dead even fight.
Here we go, round 7.
Alternating rounds, basically.
Round 7 of Mandalay Bay. We'll see if Vargas can counter like he did in the 5th round when he started putting under pressure. De La Hoya seemed to gain more confidence in his boxing, and I could only guess that maybe the touching heads, Joe Cortez warns him against the headbutts, try to keep it out of there, because we don't want to have this fight stopped on headbutt, Rich. I just had a sense that Oscar, after not fighting for 15 months, is finally in the 7th round or 6th round, maybe starting to get his legs a little bit more.
Well, we felt that the layoff would affect him more than it would Vargas, who was off about a year, due to the fact that he depends more on being really precise and sharp in the ring, De La Hoya. Swelling under the right eye now of Vargas. Looks like the swelling is going to push up underneath the right eye. And De La Hoya working on it with the jab.
De La Hoya fighting a nice round here, up on his toes, trying to put on a little bit of a show. Now we got a little showmanship going on. Both fighters are into it.
Absolutely gamesmanship. There you see the blood, though, coming out of that cut. The cut, though, is not dripping into the eye. Remember, it's going to look bad, but it's not dripping into the eye to inhibit vision. What might inhibit his vision is the quick swelling underneath the eye of Vargas.
Vargas just landed a pretty good right there, but Oscar's got, I can see the work that Mayweather's done with him. His defensive skills, in my opinion, are definitely better, Rich. Just wish he could get more of the right hand in if that's part of his technique. We can see what that could do.
Hasn't used it a lot tonight, but his jab has been a thing of beauty.
That little cut's beginning to be more and more of a problem under the left eye.
Funny, they're both bruised in about the exact same spot.
Yeah. And that's the kind of fight it's been. Crowd getting a little raucous here. And Vargas, with 1 minute in the round, as I said, has been his pattern. Might get him more busy. Good punch inside. Now Oscar throws the right and comes back with a counter. And Vargas says, bring it on. Blood in the mouth of Oscar De La Hoya. Good right hand over the top, but Vargas takes it.
Vargas needs to be careful because De La Hoya is beginning to dominate here.
Oscar's opened himself up to a lot of punches, too. He's got his hand. I've never seen him hold his hand down there like that.
Yeah, but he's confusing Vargas as to where he's going to throw the jab to with his hand down there, Alan. He's throwing it to the body sometimes, to the head sometimes, and Vargas doesn't know where it's going.
20 seconds left, round 7. That's what Mayweather told him. Give him different looks. Don't let him know where it's coming from. Vargas, in the last 2 rounds, has not been able to do what he'd like to do. Oscar looking much better, Rich.
Yeah, Vargas, don't just stand in the middle of the ring.
If Oscar has turned this fight around in his favor, it is because of his superior boxing skills in the ring. And we'll see. We're getting to the business end of this fight, Rich Murata. 8th round. We'll see if it goes 12, but this is when they separate the men from the boys from the other boxers. It's starting to get to be serious business. Fernando's still in the middle. Good right hand from Oscar. That's what you've been calling for. Another good right hand. The crowd really reacted.
First time he showed him like that. Back-to-back rights. Following the jab, De La Hoya definitely in the rhythm. And this is a very dangerous time for Vargas because, as I mentioned in the last round, De La Hoya beginning to dominate. Vargas has got to put something on him to get De La Hoya out of that rhythm.
De La Hoya flashing the jab, then faking another right hand dead on the cheekbone. The right hand has come to life in round 8 as long as De La Hoya doesn't do anything dumb. He almost slipped up right there. Punch, little punch south of the border there from Vargas. Crowd starting to chant Vargas, Vargas.
And the Vargas fans who are large in number here trying to encourage a man who may need a little encouraging right now.
Well, whatever ring rust Oscar had in the first 4 rounds is gone. We have him winning the last 2 rounds. Vargas not good. There he is out front where he can be hit. Rich, he can be hit right there in the middle of the ring if he stays there. Look at the confidence growing in Oscar De La Hoya.
And what you don't see is the relentless pressure from Vargas anymore. Look at Vargas backing off a little side-to-side movement, not coming forward. He was the man initiating all the action. He was coming forward. Look at it now.
De La Hoya showing tremendous boxing skills in this last 3 rounds.
Vargas looks worried to me.
Good body punches, good combinations. Vargas looking for a spot to unload. De La Hoya comes back with a right hand. Vargas trying to counter. Good right hand for De La Hoya.
De La Hoya can't get reckless, however. He's in complete control right here, but he cannot get reckless.
It would be a dumb thing to do. He has a tendency to do that sometimes.
Remember Vargas and everything he said about I'd rather die in that ring than lose to De La Hoya. It's either win or die trying. I mean, he's going to go with every ounce that he has. And if De La Hoya gets reckless, it could be trouble. But he's had a very good breaking down of Fernando Vargas in the last 3 rounds.
30 seconds left, round 8. Blood streaming from the cheekbone of Fernando Vargas, who looks a little bit confused and dazed at points in this round. Not as strong and as effective as he was in round 5. From then on, it's been all De La Hoya. Final seconds, round 8. What a great display of boxing skills from Oscar De La Hoya in this round. De La Hoya is taking charge. De La Hoya is taking charge.
Yeah,
this thing is far from over, Rich Murata. We're going to the 9th round. I think this is a long way from over. There's going to be some fireworks. We'll see if Vargas can turn it around in this round. We'll see if Oscar's in good enough shape to hold off a man who's in the best shape of his life, Fernando Vargas from Oxnard, California. His whole life he's trained for this. There's that right hand. He's chopping away at him. Not even Trinidad could do this to Vargas with the combinations. Trinidad knocked him around 5 times and knocked him down, but he didn't face this kind of jab with the combination. Now Oscar covering up.
This is what Vargas needs. De La Hoya giving him a little opening here, a little window of opportunity, and Vargas beginning to put some pressure on, and that's what he's got to do.
Not the same Oscar so far in round 9. Looking at jab. You think he maybe needs to try to take a round off? Is that what he's doing?
I don't suspect that's what he would do.
That's not smart. He's standing there covered up and letting Vargas throw the right hand again and again and again. Vargas trying to unload, and Oscar just taking it.
Scintillating fight.
An excellent fight. That's a good right hand.
A chopping right by De La Hoya.
Those are taking effect, but when he goes to that cover-up position, to me it hasn't worked unless he's trying to get Vargas winded or tired. But I don't think it's going to happen.
De La Hoya's lost his rhythm in this round. Look at he's not up, he's not jabbing, he's not bouncing around. He's completely lost his rhythm.
We're halfway through the 9th round, and it's turned around in Vargas' favor here. Vargas, this is what we saw back in the 5th round from Vargas. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Pushing Oscar into the ropes. backing him up. Oscar not countering. Now Oscar back up on his toes, but he's not throwing the jab like he was. He lead right hand. Combination. Oscar looked a little tired.
I thought De La Hoya had taken complete command, and Vargas is surprising me in this round. It means too much to Fernando for him to just roll over them.
He's not going to. That's what he needs to do. Oscar needs to come back with that jab. It's been so effective, he keeps him back. He's coming down to conditioning here. Oscar takes a hard body punch. That punch, that counter from Oscar hurt. There's the jab, throwing the right hand. Chopping right hands. Vargas trying to find an opening, any opening to the body so he can throw his big punches. Oscar not letting him get off the big punch. There's a spot where Oscar doesn't want to be in the corner as he jabs his way out of the corner. That's what he's got to do, turn around and jab his way out.
But he has gotten out of his game plan in this round.
13 seconds left in round 9. Be interesting to see what Mayweather says to Oscar at the end of this round. More blood for Fernando Vargas. Oscar throwing punches, final 10 seconds.
Last 30 seconds were better for De La Hoya, but was it enough to win the round? I don't think so.
Here we go. 10th round scheduled for 12 from Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. What a fight it has been. Oscar De La Hoya and Fernando Vargas. Vargas putting the pressure on in round 9 as we head into the later rounds. Who has the more stamina? Who can make it? Vargas said he would rather die than lose to De La Hoya. De La Hoya flicking the jab, doing what he has to do. Mayweather employing his fighter to beat him from the outside. He doesn't need to be on the ropes.
De La Hoya looking to get that rhythm back. When he has his rhythm, he pops up on his toes and he pops that jab. A double, triple jab with it. He's looking for it. He lost it completely in that last round.
De La Hoya having trouble breathing. His nose has been tagged, and we've seen it dripping the entire fight just about, so he's breathing through his mouth.
It's back to relentless pressure for Vargas.
Vargas keeps coming across.
But he can't get wild.
10th round. What a fight it has been. De La Hoya continues to throw the jab at Vargas. Vargas looking to land a big punch.
Neither man able to take control of this round so far.
Left hook by De La Hoya as he cocked that right hand and didn't throw it. He thought better of it.
It's a nice left hook counter by De La Hoya. I thought he had more success with that here tonight.
Vargas continues to apply the pressure with the footwork, but he's not quite able to apply the pressure with the punches. De La Hoya will make a stand somewhere on the outside and try to keep flicking that jab. Vargas' jab is non-existent.
I think this round's still up for grabs with a minute to go here.
1 minute to go in the round 10 scheduled for 12. We'll see who can keep up the pressure.
And I would have to think, Alan, this is a very close fight, and so I think this is a very important minute right here.
Exactly. I think this is the most crucial minute of the fight we're watching right now, folks. De La Hoya, blood dripping from his nose, having trouble breathing. It's been a problem throughout the fight. Vargas swelling under his right eye. They've been able to keep it under check. De La Hoya really pouring blood now from his nose. Vargas keeps up that pressure. Keeps up that pressure. Good counter from De La Hoya. 30 seconds. Under 30 seconds left. I don't think anyone's taking control of this round.
And that's scraped right over that cut again. That left hook by De La Hoya.
Good right hand from De La Hoya. Blood pouring out of his nose. Good combination. Inside, he staggered Vargas. He staggered him with his quickness and with a big power punch in the final seconds. Wow. That was scary.
First time in the fight that one man was really rocked and close to going down.
Go on there now. You know where he at now. You know where he at. You get it. You're all yours now.
Got him hurt. Tagged him.
Don't go to no. 11th round, baby. It's all yours. You're all yours now.
Let's see what happened. It was that left hook. A little inside left hook from De La Hoya. There it is. And Fernando, the pain on his face, and his legs betray him as he staggers back. And Vargas, perhaps wearying now from this pitched battle, finally showing the effects of a single punch. In this case, a left hook landed by De La Hoya.
We've got 2 rounds to go.
I don't think the judges will score that a 10-8 round, however.
No, they won't. It happened at the end. I don't think they will either. I think this thing's still up for grabs. Vargas certainly has his attention piqued by what just happened. De La Hoya with the quickness. His quickness has been a big factor, especially in that exchange.
Floyd Mayweather was telling him, well, you know where you got him now, which I thought was basically telling him you can take him out.
We'll see. We'll see how Vargas bounces back. Sometimes this little sit on the stool brings you right back. De La Hoya cannot afford to be too cautious.
It's been an exquisite fight, though.
It's been an excellent fight. Both guys showed tremendous heart. They came to do business. They gave the people what they paid for. But we got a long way to go. Round 11 of a scheduled 12.
I can't believe De La Hoya's not jumping right on him.
De La Hoya seems to be holding back for some reason.
Oscar had him close to knocked out in the last round, and he's not jumping on him.
I think Vargas is more cautious than ever. More cautious than any round in round 11 here. Now he's cautious. There it is! There it is! Vargas is down! Vargas is down and stunned!
Joel De La Hoya, the brother of Oscar, jumped up on the ring apron. He could get Oscar De La Hoya disqualified. The commission told him to get down.
Dumb move in the corner, but Oscar trying to finish up now. Round 11. He put Vargas down. He almost put him down at the end of round 10. No time to be careless. He's got him going backwards. De La Hoya's got him going backwards. Now he's got Vargas in the corner, throwing punches. And Joe Cortez ends the fight. Joe Cortez has ended the fight. He didn't want to see Vargas take any more punishment in the corner.
It is deafening in here. Listen to this roar.
The best of De La Hoya.
Absolutely, and I think what we have just seen, finally, at long last, is Oscar De La Hoya's defining fight.
The best of De La Hoya. I am impressed, Rich. What a difference the combinations Mayweather brought to this young man. The jab, the quickness, the speed, and then when he saw the opening, pouncing.
Bloodied but unbowed, De La Hoya scraped on the right cheek, bleeding from the nose, but taking control of the fight. And really a brilliant performance in the end. There you see the first knockdown. Down goes Vargas, and I mean he went down hard. Flat on his back.
It's that
the left hand, which he really turned over very short, just beautifully, crisply thrown, turned it over as he was throwing it. Nicely done, I mean. And then De La Hoya went after it, and this is what he was dreaming of.
Oh, he just put a pounding on him in the corner, Rich. And I think Joe Cortez did the right thing.
No one can argue with that stoppage of the fight.
No doubt.
A magnificent performance by Oscar De La Hoya. A gallant performance by Fernando Vargas in defeat.
The place went nuts. People have wanted for 10 years to see this from Oscar De La Hoya. Now they got it. So Oscar could say, how do you like them apples, folks?
I really felt that we've never seen the defining fight of De La Hoya's career. That one that De La Hoya at the end of his career could say, look, this was the fight. This was what I was all about. This was the defining fight of my career. And I think we've seen it here tonight for Oscar De La Hoya.
What a scene, him and Floyd Sr. I tell you what, I had a very close fight.
at the end of the fight, I had it 96-94 for Oscar De La Hoya, which would have been 6 rounds to 4 at the end of 10.
Let me tell you something, Rich. He has learned by getting. Let's go to Michael Buffer now for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Mandalay Bay, before we announce the official time, a round of applause for two great champions that came here to face each other tonight, Fernando Vargas and Oscar De La Hoya. The end comes at 48 seconds of round number 11. The winner by knockout victory, and now the unified champion from East LA, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Very exciting. We saw fireworks in the ring and outside the ring.
The point I was going to make, Oscar put it all together, and I think when you lose decisions like he did to Trinidad, he doesn't want that to happen again, especially in a close fight. We're standing by for an interview with Larry Merchant and Oscar De La Hoya. What a fight this was.
All right, let's take a look at that first knockdown once again. Two at long range. De La Hoya steps in and then turns over a short left hook. Beautifully thrown technique-wise by De La Hoya. Decking Fernando Vargas. And then De La Hoya just brought it. I mean,
he knew when to say when, didn't he?
Unlike the Felix Trinidad fight when he had it wrapped up, he did not step back. He did not shut it down. He turned it up.
That's what he's learned he has to do.
He was really hurting Fernando Vargas in there. And I think Joe Cortez gave Vargas every chance to answer back there and just saw that Vargas could not take it anymore. And Fernando now has left the ring. He will not be interviewed. He's going back to his locker room. He is weary. He is beaten down. He is cut. He is battered. And he is defeated.
He doesn't look so good. Let's go to Larry Merchant.
Congratulations, Oscar. Did you think it was going to come to a knockout ending, or did it look like it was going to best be in a very intense boxing match as it moved along?
I did feel his conditioning was wearing down a bit, and I know my conditioning is great. I felt really good, but I should have moved my head a little more, caught more jabs. He was wide open for the jab, but it's a learning process.
Well, you've learned pretty well over the years, and you're never quite satisfied, even with, how does this rank among your greatest victories?
It's got to rank up there. I mean, Fernando Vargas is no pushover. He's a strong puncher, but I knew I was faster. I knew I had more speed, so I can utilize my quickness and eventually catch him in the later rounds.
He got you on the ropes several times. Was that distracting to you? Did you believe that he was too strong for you in there? Did you have to make adjustments?
At first, I thought he was too strong for me, but when I was rolling and he was missing, I knew he was gonna get tired in the later rounds. That's what it does. Remember the fight I told you, no sweat Brett against Mayweather? He got him tired. He was like that, getting him tired, and then later rounds knocked him out.
When did you see him getting tired?
I believe like in the 7th, even the 6th, 7th round, somewhere around there. I felt he was wearing down.
What did the blood mean to you to see him bloody like that? What is that message that sends to a fighter?
I'm sorry to say, but I know it sounds brutal, but when I see blood, I want more. That's just the way it is.
How satisfying is this simply on a personal level after being taunted and goaded for so many years by him?
Oh, it feels great because all the talk he was saying, I just got fed up with it. I wasn't going to fight him, but he got under my skin, so I told everybody inside the ring, my fists are going to do the talking.
What keeps Oscar De La Hoya going? You've got all the money in the world. You're married to a lovely woman. You've had so much success. Why do you keep doing this?
Well, in boxing, Larry, first of all, it's my whole team. Mayweather, Little Joe, my brother, Bob Arum, especially my wife. My wife motivated me. Although she was there with me for about a month and a half up in camp, the team, sometimes feel, well, we don't want women there, this and that. But my wife is different. She pushes me. Every time I leave that room to go train, she tells me, you better train hard or don't come back. All right, I'll train hard.
All right, let's take a look at the 11th round, and you decide, you tell us what was going on.
Left hook right here. I was just waiting for his jab. He was starting to throw a solid jab, but I knew that if I feinted him and I threw the left hook. We were always working on that. And if I had a chance to throw the right hand, I would throw it. I was working on the body, just trying to stop him here, basically.
This looks like the end of the Corte fight.
Well, as you can see, I'm keeping my composure now. I'm not throwing wild punches. I'm keeping my composure and kind of seeing what I have opened, and I can pick my shots and really connect right there.
Did he say anything to you during the fight?
No, he just left. I thought he was gonna shake my hand or something, but he just left. It's okay, no problem.
Do you feel sort of like you beat up a kid? Because the first time you laid eyes on him, he was a kid.
Oh, you know what? I never disrespect any fighter, because any fighter who steps inside this ring, I respect a lot, because it's a tough sport. But he talked a lot of stuff about me, and I didn't like that. So I had to show him a lesson.
How long do you want to keep going on?
Until I know I can secure my legacy in boxing. That's fighting Shane Mosley. That's fighting Trinidad if he comes back. If he comes back. If he doesn't, I respect that. But fighting the best. You have to fight the best to be the best. And with Mayweather in my corner and all my team, man, I'm going straight to the top.
You told me yesterday that you thought perhaps that Trinidad's retirement was a negotiating ploy to get a better deal in a rematch. Is that what you believe?
Well, who knows? Who knows? Because a fighter wants to be with his family. A fighter, after accomplishing so much in the ring the way Trinidad did, you know, he wants to be with his family and take some time off. Maybe when he rests enough, he'll decide to come back. Who knows? But like I said before, if he retires, I respect it.
So you're looking forward to fighting Shane Mosley and trying to avenge that defeat sometimes early next year?
Well, I have to. I have to. In order to become a great champion, I have to beat the guys who beat me. And Shane Mosley is a great fighter. Even though he lost twice already to Vernon, he's still a great fighter. He still has a talent. But I'm looking to fight the best. Even Winky Wright is saying, well, I don't want to fight him, this and that. Hey, if it presents itself, because you know I've never ducked nobody. If he presents himself, then hey, why not fight him?
What farewell message would you send to Fernando Vargas?
I'm not a lightweight. I'm not a 130-pound puncher anymore. I have a punch, and a lot of people are surprised when they come in the ring with me. They don't think I'm fast enough. They don't think I'm strong enough. Maybe they think I'm still that little puppy I told you about 8 years ago, Larry. But I can pack a punch, that's for sure. And people have to respect that, hopefully.
They will.
One more thing. Independencia mexicana, viva todos los mexicanos. Por esta victoria es para ustedes. East LA, a toda mi gente, mi familia, Mili, te amo. Un besote.
Thank you very much.